Hello. This was one of the paper that went against my argument that generative AI does not help in teaching and learning practices with the kind of philosophy of education and with the kind of teaching and learning that we have across universities and institutions around the world today. The authors of this research paper did meta-analysis on more than 2,000 research papers which was published from the year 2022 to 2025 on generative AI and student learning. And they found out that generative AI like ChatGPT has a high positive impact on student learning. And interestingly, this paper has been restricted now because there has been a problem with its meta-analysis. And so my argument still stands very strong. With the question of should we use generative AI in education, my answer has always been yes. But whenever we are discussing on the topic of AI in education, we discuss this problem as if like the problem is with generative AI. And we do not think in terms of the philosophy of education that we need to change, the assessments that we need to change, the kind of teaching and learning that we actually need to change. And so here the question is not about whether we should use AI, rather the question is about what kind of education are we redesigning in the age of generative AI. No matter how many workshops that you do for your faculty in your institutions, it will not help. Even if you introduce course on AI for students, it will not help until and unless we ask this question of how do we redesign education? How do we rethink this philosophy and idea of education? How do we redesign assessment? How do we redesign teaching and learning? And so whenever I do any kind of workshop on AI and teaching and learning with students and faculty, I talk to them about how we need to rethink learning, how we need to rethink assessment, how we need to rethink again teaching and learning. And so the retraction of this paper proves very clearly that again using generative AI and teaching and learning method that we have today does not work. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. I'll address it in the upcoming reel.